Welcome to Subterranean Guitar Tech. I'm underground, and today I'm going to be installing this brass block into this bridge. The stuff I'm going to use is before me, so you can see. Not everything here is going to be necessary if you want to try this yourself. You will absolutely need your bridge, though, if you're going to do it. This, according to the official Jackson specs page, should be a Floyd Rose special, but it is not branded that way. So it makes me wonder if this is actually a higher grade 1000 series bridge instead, or if they just didn't stamp it with that for whatever reason. Regardless, the rest of it works fine, but this here, the standard block 32 mil for this Jackson, just is not amazing. I mean, it works pretty fine, I would say. I'm not like a connoisseur of these things. I haven't owned, I don't know, dozens and dozens of these and tried them all out and made recordings to try to objectively compare what stuff does. But I do have another DK7 that I've already upgraded with one of these blocks, and it does feel substantially better to me. So I want to do that to this bridge as well. Tools I'm going to be using are, of course, the hex wrenches that just come on the back of the headstock of the guitar. Source your own. I got rid of the Harbor Freight screwdriver. This time I've got a ratcheting model, which should be much nicer to use. I have the brass block itself, which, important to note, the 7-string special and 1000 series bridges inexplicably have different screw spacing for the top. These ones are farther out, so the spacing's wider. If you buy an ordinary block, it will not fit. This is the part number you're going to want to get. I didn't really find anybody but the official Floyd Rose website selling these, so I bought a few of them on the Black Friday sale. Got 15% off, so that was nice. The tape and the scissors, what I'm going to do is use some tape up here at the top of the base plate to mark at least the approximate position of the saddles. I don't know if this is all that well intonated. I mean, I played it yesterday after the last video to kind of get a feel for the way things were. But those strings are, I mean, not like super old, I guess, or worn, but they're too thin for the tuning that I want to put this guitar in, which is half step down standard. So we're gonna have to redo it anyway. But just to get a head start on that, I'm gonna just be cutting off some pieces of this masking tape, marking those, and then I will proceed with disassembling this bridge. All right, here it is, approximately taped up. I'm not sure how well this is going to stick, and if it falls off, oh well. Anyway, our next step is going to be removing all of these string lock screws, which you can do with a larger hex wrench. All right, now that those are gone, saddles can move this way, but they're still locked down by those, and your, I think they're called string blocks. These little pieces will fall out, so be careful of that. It doesn't really matter necessarily what saddle they go in, so if you mix them up, oh well. I believe we'll need the smaller of the two to remove these saddle screws. So you want to preserve the order that your saddles are in, because they're actually different heights. Denoted, I'm not sure what the system is exactly, but you can find numbers on the bottom, which probably means something more simple than I've been able to determine. But it's easy enough to eyeball. If you line them all up, you should have the, well, at least on a 7-string, the highest saddle directly in the middle, and then have them slowly taper out in order to set your radius. So if you just put those in a random order, it's gonna feel weird when you reassemble it. And if you do mix them up, it's not too big of a deal. Just a little bit more work for you to line them up like this, get down close, eyeball it, and then rearrange them to the proper order. So I'm gonna set those over there, and we'll remove these screws now. All right, after some more scrubbing with the microfiber cloth, that's looking better. This reveals, well, not the rubbing with the cloth, but removing the saddles reveals these 3 screws here, which actually secure the plate to the block. And just while I have this up, you can see the wear here on the knife edges. If everyone ever see people talk about knife edges on bridges online, this is what they mean. That sharp part right there, which actually contacts the studs in your guitar and pivots on them. So I believe it's the larger one again for these screws. Remove those, and then we'll have 2 pieces between the block and the base plate. Gotta do some decent torque to break those free. Did that do it? Yep, sweet. All right, with those removed, lift that off, and then we can see our fine tuner tension plate here. A little dusty, and then we have, I believe this is called a shim maybe, but it's just a slightly thicker piece of metal to probably make sure that that pressure is applied more evenly from the block as things are being pulled. So I'll set those aside, take a look at our block here. Further, these are made of just slag or pot metal or whatever, which does an okay enough job and is cheap enough to be mass manufactured, but not as good as brass. So let's open up this one. Looks like it already had some trauma in transit, so maybe I'll just exploit that. All right. Looks like those holes are countersunk. Maybe a bit more, or is that just an optical illusion? Maybe just an illusion. Anyway, this thing is significantly thicker and feels significantly heavier in the hand. So get rid of that. This is directional. You want the side with these holes on it to be facing the spring claw or toward the top of the guitar body. So that means that it would be mounted this way, with the Floyd Rose logo being this direction. So this brings these up. These are some replacement block screws. These ones are kind of just cheapo whatever, and they probably work just fine. But many years ago, when I owned kind of a mid cheapo range Ibanez RG, I purchased these because I was trying to do similar sort of upgrades without knowing what I was really doing, and these are not the right size for an Edge 3 bridge. But they were so cheap off eBay. When I called and said that they were, well, not called, emailed, and said that they were the wrong size, the guy was just like, yeah, just keep them. So I've had them around forever, and now they have a use. These aren't specific to being guitar screws or anything. Some guy probably just bought a bunch of these and called his eShop Diablo tuning or whatever to make them sound cool. So I'm sure if you just look for M5 0.8 by 12 millimeter screws, you can get some yourself if you want for probably very cheap. I think these are stainless steel. All right, with those out of the bag, we're going to reassemble the bridge and just reverse our steps. Make sure that you line up your shim like this, then have that facing this way before you put things back on. Got those lined up with one screw in, and hopefully that's going to make this a bit easier to get started. Just going to get that most of the way screwed in, and then get the other two to about that same point. Alright, that's fairly well lined up now, so I will put some pressure back here with this finger, hold that, and then torque these down. Looking better. Alright, so now I'm going to quickly eyeball the saddles to make sure they're in the right order, and then reattach them according to the tape marks. Also, I realized I don't actually need this since I already took out the bridge before the video started. All right, the eyeball test passed, so let's get these back on. And here is the finished product. Much heavier feeling now. I installed this on my other guitar. Felt like the really Floyd specific stuff that you would do, like your Annie LaRocque flutters and dive bombs and things, all just sustained a lot better. I can't really speak to tone or, whatever treble response you're going to get otherwise, but supposedly it helps. Next video, I was going to do the Schaller SureClaw install, but with the other stuff I want to do to the neck, I don't know if I'm going to jump into that just next. So I might end up trying to clean up the fretboard and do something about that high fret and polish the frets before I put stuff back together. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching.